My Mother the Narcissist, Part 6. So my stepdad, Dio, went to jail for 6 months. My brother Dio was born during this time. That was incredibly traumatic as well, because we had nobody. We literally had nobody. And Dio was in jail, and Maggie had almost died giving birth to my brother Dio. Her uterus had ruptured, almost. She had a cesarean awake, and the doctor went in, and on the last layer, he said, "Oh my God," when he cut open my mom, which you don't want to hear that from any doctor or surgeon. But from my understanding, the last layer of the uterine lining was tearing when he cut her open. And there's 9 layers for those of you that don't know. So it was in the process of rupturing. My mother lost 9 pints of blood or something like that. And I think the human body only has 8. So they were pumping her with blood. Sorry, I smoked before this. Anyways, she lost a lot of blood. They were asking my dad who they wanted her to save, or who he wanted them to save. My brother, they both very much almost died. It was a big ordeal. It was very scary. I was 11 and a half. And my stepdad was let out of jail for the night, for 24 hours or 48 hours or something like that. My mom had gotten him, I think it's called a furlough, so that he was able to witness the birth of his son. So he was out for that, but then he had to go back in. And like I said, we had nobody. So my mom really heavily relied upon me, an 11-year-old, to take care of her and newborn baby. And I was every 2 hours getting up and bringing her the baby and helping change diapers and helping her, especially because her incision tore too. So she had to go, and it was like leaking and pussy. Oh God, I remember that was gross. And it was a lot of responsibility put on me because I was taking care of the baby and Maggie. I was taking care of Sabrina. I was taking care of me. I was taking care of the house. I was taking care of everything. And I was still going to school. And I was expected to have good grades. And I was drowning. And I feel like nobody paid attention. Nobody noticed. I definitely slipped through the cracks. Not one teacher paid attention, really. Well, I take that back. Mrs. Hernandez, she noticed with my journal that something was off, but nothing came out of it still. And so, it's just a lot of things. My grades suffered severely. I became a C and D average student, even though I'm definitely A average. I have no problems with A's and B's, but I was definitely doing D's and C's, and I was really having a hard time. I even had a couple of F's, which I tried to hide, and then somehow it was my fault, and I was the problem that I was failing. Like, no one was taking a look around at what was going on in my life to make me fail. They were just like, do better. I was expected to live like a grown-ass adult at 11. And as soon as I could, I started babysitting so I could get money, so I could do things like buy my own clothes and my own haircuts and things for myself so that I could, I felt like that would be helping out. Things were chill or whatever, but, when Dio got out of jail, it got intense again. I mean, at first it was calm. But then, he started right back up to his usual stuff, especially when we moved into the new house. We moved like 3 blocks away to a tri-level home. My bedroom was on the bottom floor. Everyone else was on the top. So it had an entryway, and then it had stairs that went upstairs, and then downstairs it was like 3 little steps. And that was the living room, another bathroom, my bedroom, and the garage. And then over on, this landing area, there was the living room, or I guess the second living room, the dining area, the kitchen, and another dining area. It was a pretty big house. And then upstairs was the master bedroom with the master bathroom, my sister's room, a bathroom, and my brother's room. And pretty sure my uncle and his kids moved in with us at that time too, and that was really chaotic. My cousin had told me that there was some abuse going on in his house, but I didn't believe him because his dad was like this holy roller, and I didn't say anything. About 2 years later, my cousin said something to my mom, who reported it, and it just imploded the whole family because it was sexual abuse claims. The whole family is divided on whether or not it's true or not. My uncle still has custody of one of his children. My aunt has agoraphobia from her relationship with my uncle. She won't leave her house, so that's there's fun. I don't know. I know this isn't really necessarily relevant, but I'm just putting it in there because I'm giving you guys a timeline of just everything. I'm trying to keep everything in order of what went on. And at this time, my mom wasn't speaking to her dad because he married someone 3 years younger than her. He cheated on my grandma. A whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of freaking drama in my family. And my grandma refused to talk to us anymore because she's actually my step grandmother. And we're Bob's family. So that happened when I was 11, at the same time when all that stuff was going on with my brother being born, my stepdad being in jail, and us having nobody. That's why we had nobody. The whole family was just literally imploded. Nobody was talking to anybody. And the only friend my mother had lived 3 hours away. Gosh, that was the only time I ever had any reprieve was whenever we went to Lynn's house. Because at Aunt Lynn and Uncle Scott's, Maggie and Dio behaved. They had to put on their mask and not let people see their behavior. So I got to actually enjoy myself and live and not be abused. So back to this big house, when we were living there, there was all kinds of other abuse that happened. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, let me go back. I forgot. When we lived in the duplex and before we moved into this big house, and Dio had just gotten out of jail, him and Maggie were fighting in the garage, and I heard him hit her. And I ran in there. I burst in, and I was like, you tell us all the time that we're supposed to make sure people respect our mother and don't treat her badly, and then this is how you treat her, and I'm supposed to just sit here and say nothing? So you will never hit her again. I was 12. I was so afraid, but I told him, you will not hit her again. And from my recollection, I never saw him hit her again. But he sure as fuck hit me and Sabrina all the fucking time. Oh, but Dio, not the baby king. That's what he called him, by the way, the baby king. That was my brother's nickname until he was 6. And now if we call him the baby king, we're being petty and childish. But my brother can do no wrong. Dio can do absolutely no wrong. And I am the black sheep of the family because I tell them the truth. I don't beat around the bush. All right, guys, I got to wrap this one up. I'll see you for part 7 tomorrow. Many blessings and thanks for being here.